What do you want out of your life? And don't just say, you know, I want to be loved, I want to be happy. Because everybody wants that, right? And I'm not saying those are bad things. Instead, I want you to reframe what your mind is. Instead of being like, I want to be loved, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy. Instead, create specific goals, specific things to work towards that will give you that result. So instead of saying, I want to be fit, which is a very general goal, instead say, I want to lose 15 pounds. And then you think to yourself, well, how am I going to lose 15 pounds? Well, I got to change my diet. I got to eat healthier. I got to start, going to the gym and exercising more. And then you end up creating like almost like a framework for you to follow. That is the power of actually reframing your goals and reframing your mentality. Now, once you've come up with these specific things, trust me when I say this, because this happens to everyone, unless you're like, I don't know, you're a very unique person if this doesn't happen to you, because this literally happens to everybody. Once you've created this sort of framework, and if it's going to be a little bit difficult, almost immediately, you're going to start to cope and say things like, oh, well, I can't do that because, my parents might think it's weird. I can't do that because, I don't have a gym near me or whatever. The truth is you can. You can do everything that you want to do. This is a free world. If you live in America, it's a free country, we're in a world now where you can do basically anything you want, right? But you are the one thing that's holding you back. You are the only thing that's holding you back. There's no excuses anymore. Once you cut out these weird copes that your mind creates, you realize that there's absolutely and utterly nothing stopping you from being the best version of yourself except you. You're it. The only thing standing in your way. The easiest way to overcome this is with something that all living things, pretty much all creatures share. And that is fear. There's a little bit loud. There's a rainstorm where I live here. Fear. Now, rather than having this fear of starting, which everybody seems to have, instead of having the fear of beginning, have the fear of failure. Because even though people think like, oh yeah, I'm not afraid of failing, I'm not afraid of this, and everyone thinks, this makes you stronger. But it doesn't. It actually makes you weaker. Because if you have zero fear of failing, it can be nice. It can be, it'll be stress-free. But when you have a fear of failure, then you're going to put so much effort into the thing you're doing. A great example of this could be studying. If you don't have a fear of failing a test, you're not going to study very hard. You're going to be like, whatever, I'm not going to, stress out about, this test I don't care about. But when you have a fear of failing the test, then you're just like for hours on end. Because the truth is, I found this very interesting. And this is something that I have struggled with myself, where if you have fairly good grades, often if you're not, unless you're, a very accomplished person academically, if you have fairly good grades and then, maybe the final exam comes up and you're almost doing the math in your mind of like what your grade is going to be like if you fail it. And then you realize, if I get a 0 on this test, I'm still going to pass the class. And so you almost put almost no effort into actually studying for this exam. I did this on math exam, and I feel bad for my teacher for doing this because I had no fear of failing that exam. Zero. And so I struggled to force myself to study for this exam. And so I studied, but not nearly as hard as I should have. And that caused me to not perform as well as I should have on that test. I thought I was studying hard, but the truth is I didn't do certain things out of pure laziness, and I thought I was being efficient, but I was really just being lazy, and it was rough. And my performance on that test showed my lack of effort. But something else that I've noticed is that kids, like I have a couple friends who, are like failing a certain class, like they're like on the verge of failing a biology class or an algebra class. They're like right there, like D's, They study their butts off for that exam. They study so hard. They'll literally spend almost an entire day working to study and ace that exam. And you know what? They actually do it. They do well because they have a fear of failure. A fear of failure. That's the power of fear. It can make you either never try to achieve your goals, or if you're able to use it in such a way, it'll allow you to actually reframe your fear. Instead of a fear of beginning, make it a fear of not finishing. And then you become so motivated. You become able to work so hard and outwork your competition because you are afraid. Well, it is really raining right now. I don't know how well you can even hear what I'm saying. This is something that I have struggled with implementing in my life, and so I want to start implementing this into my life, where instead of being afraid to start things, be afraid of not finishing. So if you're trying to lose weight, instead of, what I like to do, what I've done is in my past before, is creating almost, I don't want to call it a punishment, but it's kind of what it is creating a penalty for what happens if you don't achieve your goal. It's like me and my friend will do this if we're challenging each other. Like if recently we had a challenge where it was the One Punch Man workout, and if we didn't complete and we quit and we gave up, we had to buzz cut our hair. I had never buzz cut my hair. I didn't do it. Neither did my friend. We achieved it because we were afraid. We were afraid of failing because we didn't want to buzz cut our hair. And so we did it every single day we put in the work. So basically just kind of create a punishment for yourself. So if you're trying to lose weight, you don't have to do this, but this is an example that I would give someone if I was trying to motivate them to lose weight. Is like, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, say to yourself, I can't lose this 20 pounds within a year. I have to buzz cut my hair, or I have to whatever, right? Do something embarrassing. It's through this that you create fear in your mind of failing, and then you're going to achieve it. Because me and my friend, we were doing the One Punch Man workout. I know for a fact, because it's hard, right? The One Punch Man is hard. And I've done it before, so I had a little bit of advantage over my friend, but I know that either me or him wouldn't have actually done it. We would have given up at some point if we didn't have this penalty that would have happened if we didn't do it. So we were afraid, and this fear pushed us to greatness. That's all I got for today. So don't have dreams, have goals, and stay wild.